So hello everybody, welcome back. I hope that you like this series. You might want to watch it from the beginning so that it makes more sense. This I'm trying to make it so that it makes sense, individually, but still you might be interested in the other ones. So, having said that, then I would suggest grabbing a chamomile or maybe a tea, not necessarily a coffee, because unless you are kind of like going to see this as if it was a movie from which you have to learn, and so I'm going to narrate a lot of experiences, and you are going to be, yeah, good old days. So having said all of that, then if you wanted to share a coffee with me while you're at it, or take a look at any of my books, links for that down below. And here we go. So before I continue, I mentioned in the other videos that you will miss eggs, and there are several things that are made with eggs that I forgot to explain. In terms of things that you will miss with that item, and that will be mayo and a lot of other things that are related to eggs. Let me explain this. Let's say that you are working in a food production factory. This food production factory requires very likely oil, corn, eggs, pectin, sugar, salt, and probably around 3 or more ingredients that are basic. If you are missing one of these ingredients, meaning you're missing eggs, for example, you are not going to be able to produce mayo. And if you're not able to produce mayo, that means that everyone will get fired. And not only that, but you are going to be now in a very bad situation. And here's why. Let's say that you are a farmer and you are supposed to produce eggs for for anyone that buys them, right? I mean, after all, you are producing eggs because somebody is going to buy them. So here's what happens. What happens if you were going to sell the eggs to the supermarkets because people need to buy them? Like people, you, me, your neighbor, your grandfather, whoever, Yeah, not so fast. You, as in the consumer, yeah, you're at the bottom part. You are not getting any kind of products. The industries will get priority. So if you work in a hotel, and hotels do need to prepare breakfast for guests, and restaurants also need to produce food for their customers. So eggs are needed not just from you, but from a lot of people, and that includes obviously the restaurants, the industries, the hotels, the people that make certain things like pastry or whatever it is. And so now you have a problem because farms are going to be raided by people that are trying to steal the eggs. They are also going to be raided by a lot of people that go into the office, the manager's office, saying, okay, if the eggs are 70 cents, I'm paying $1. Just give them all to me because I'm going to lose my business. My hotel cannot run without breakfast, or my restaurant cannot offer anything like this, or my bakery cannot bake bread and cannot make pizza and cannot make a lot of things without eggs and things like this. And so people will go $1. No, the next one will be 120, and then there will be a lot of people that will jump into these farms and they will go, yeah, $4 per egg. And then you are like, I'm sorry, what? $4? What do you mean? I'm sorry, what? And it's going to go insane because at this point, there will be a lot of people that will get eggs, but you're paying $5 or $10 for an egg, even though that it costed 70 cents. Now, this is going to actually happen, a lot. And the worst part is the part about the industry saying, I'm producing mayo. There is no way I'm going to sell a mayo for $50 just because the egg, that cost me 70 cents, now it is $10. How am I supposed to, relate that to the customer? So, I'm sorry, factory is out. We are not producing mayo anymore. And some bakeries will go, yeah, we're not producing bread anymore. Yeah, sorry about that. So basically, you will go into bakeries that are selling, like this. You go into a bakery, and seriously, it's a bakery, okay? They are supposed to have, all kinds of breads and sweets and things that are, baked, right? Right. Um, Venezuela, I think, is the only country that has been through this, that you go into a bank and you ask if they have money. You go into a supermarket and you ask if they have, milk, bread, sugar, oil, coffee, and, the basic things. And, the supermarket will say no. And you go into a bakery and people will tell you in the supermarket, no bread today. I'm sorry, come back later. Do you have, anything? No, whatever we have is imported. All we can sell you is cigarettes and maybe alcohol. So the bakeries will be selling alcohol and will be selling a lot of other stuff that you go kind of like, what? Seriously. And there will be a lot of people that are dealing with food that will be asking for permits so that they can sell alcohol, because that might be the only thing that you can sell, because that is the only thing that people don't have a need for, but people like spending their money on these things. So people will sell, at the bakery now. You will sell, you will not see sweets or breads, and the smell of the bakery will change, and that thing is going to sell cigarettes, and it's going to sell beer, and it's going to sell, all kinds of other stuff, but definitely not bread, and definitely not something that that is good for breakfast or whatever. And it's all because you have no eggs. And so when you have primary industry or primary ingredient for the industries, meaning corn, oil, butter, and things like that, sugar, salt, eggs, and like I said, maybe a pectin, very important pectin. If you do not know about that, I will tell you about it in another video, because that one you will find out. If you are the type of person that wants to find out, because if you don't bother, you're like, yeah, I'm not listening anymore. I can't take it anymore. So just say that the alien came and that's it. Don't bother. I'm leaving. I don't care why you don't have that product. Yeah, there is a shortage of pectin. Yeah, I'm sorry. What? I don't give a damn. You don't have bread in the bakery. Yeah, I'm leaving. That's it. People will just not bother to ask what happened. So if you wanted to create a famine globally, you will need to destroy the eggs industry. That will be the first one, because it's the easiest one, because you can blame it on the chicken, the eggs, the contamination, the salmonella, the whatever it is. And so, that one is the easiest part. The second one will be, you destroy the corns, and then you're thinking if you destroy wheat, you will have a problem. No, actually, because wheat, you can produce flour, yes, but corn will be a big problem, because corn is for primary industry for animals, and it's also primary industry for oils, and it's also primary industry for all kinds of food. So therefore, if you have to pick between wheat and corn, corn is way more important. And anyway, so now that I have said that, now we're moving forward to the next thing that we're actually going to get. Get used to the idea that, yeah, God, now you know. I keep getting interrupted. So here we go. You're fired. I'm sorry, what? Yes, you're fired. You are an unreliable worker, and therefore you are fired. And then it turns out that the main reason why you're fired, yeah, there was no electricity in there are power problems in your house. And then, I'm going to try to explain this one. So please breathe, because quite frankly, at this point, you might go, okay, now I get it. So, it is Monday morning. You and your husband, let's say that you have a husband and you have, a couple of kids. Um, it's Monday morning, so you wake up and you already realize that you were kind of late. Last night something happened because for whatever reason, you were, stumbling up on the bed and you couldn't sleep very nice or whatever, but you're thinking, whatever, I was overtired. I'm pissed, whatever. I'm just going to move forward. But then you go into the kitchen and you realize that something is wrong. I mean, last night you set up the. So you try to look for the coffee that last night you set up the coffee maker, and for some reason there is no coffee. You then look for the rice cooker that you set up last night with the breakfast, because some people do that. They prepare the breakfast, so that they can even take it to their job, because that is important. You need to pick up the food and then you need to put it in the lunchbox, and you need to prepare it at midnight or whatever. Most people will do that, and that's not done. Everything is uncooked or whatever, and then you go, what happened? Seriously, what happened? And then you check on the cell phone, and it turns out that there was a power outage in your area yesterday, or there was a huge peak, and the peak was at 2 in the morning. So at 2 in the morning there was like a huge surge issue or whatever it was, and therefore all the devices are off, and they were off and on, and therefore whatever programming you did with them, they no longer work, and some of the devices are going to be damaged. And then you said to yourself, well, fine, let's just start the coffee maker. And so now you start the coffee maker, and then you're kind of like, oh my God, I'm already very late. And you're thinking, okay, I'm going to, just send a message to my job or whatever. And, your husband is running, you are late, the kids are late, everything is late, nothing is done in the kitchen. And then you open the refrigerator. And as soon as you open the refrigerator, it turns out that you can feel that there is water all over the place. And you're sort of looking, and it turns out that it comes from the refrigerator, because the refrigerator last night, it got damaged because of the power surge, and therefore now you have a refrigerator that doesn't work. It's off, and there is no way that you can turn it on. And then you're sort of like, okay, obviously there is electricity, so you try to plug in and plug out, again, try to reset the refrigerator, but it just will not turn on. Therefore, now you have a house emergency, because obviously, everybody's late, and you gotta figure out what are you going to do with all of the food and everything that you have in the refrigerator, because it broke. And now you will also have to call the technician, and not only that, but let's say that you went shopping on Saturday, so all of the food, you cannot let it go to waste, and it's becoming a problem now. Obviously, because if you bought all the food and it's going to be in the refrigerator, and you leave it like that, and you go to work, and when you come back, that food is going to be beyond spoiled because it is locked, and then the smell is going to be horrible and things like this. So now you're calling your job and saying, I'm sorry, I have another house emergency. Yeah, what is it? Yeah, last night there was a problem, and now I don't have a refrigerator, so I need to stay and fix the refrigerator and wait for the technician and all of these things. And your boss is going to say, I'm sorry, don't you have somebody that can cover for you at your house? Yeah, no, I'm sorry, my husband has to get to work. And so, I cannot ask my husband to take care of these, because, I can't, and I don't have anyone. Right. So, but you called me right now, yes. But this is the third time this month that something like this has happened. The first one you called me because all of your ACs were off, and for whatever reason you needed to wait for the technician and things like this, so you had a family, that kind of emergency. So then you called me last week to tell me that you had an emergency because for whatever reason there was a problem with your car, because you put gasoline in it and the gasoline was contaminated or something like that, and then you had to take the car to the mechanic the whole day trying to figure out what went wrong with the car, and therefore you didn't have a car, so you were late, and now you're having problems with your car, your air conditioner, your TVs, and everything, and you're dealing with technicians, and today you're telling me that you now have also a problem with the refrigerator. And so you know what, stay home, that's it, you're done. And by the way, this will happen to literally every single family, everywhere you go. There is not one house in my country that has not gone through a problem in which at least once a month there is a problem with the air conditioners being bad, the accidents that happen because as soon as there is a power outage that is big, if your refrigerator, depending upon the type of refrigerator, a lot of them will use pee, meaning they will melt or something, and then you will have all kinds of water in the kitchen, and it's a problem because some people will actually get into accidents because of falling. You're going to the kitchen and you're not expecting to find a flood, even though that you didn't leave anything and you don't have a water problem. No, but you have a refrigerator problem. And it's kind of like insane because now you gotta clean, you gotta talk to technicians, you gotta figure out what happened, you gotta replace things, you gotta deal with insurance if you have them, which by the way you won't because there is no insurance. I have mentioned this in other videos. Now you gotta deal with the expenses, you gotta deal with the hazard of finding a spare part. If not, then you also, by the way, at this point you gotta run to try to get ice so that the food that is in the refrigerator do not get bad. And so now your whole day in which you were supposed to go to your job or whatever, it turned out that you are fired, you will not have the money. Now you're worried. Your husband left in a hurry because you woke up late because there was a search, and therefore all the equipment in your house just reset it, which means that all the alarm clocks and everything just didn't work. And you are taking the kids, but the kids are insane because obviously if you didn't sleep and the kids did not sleep either, it's going to be an issue. And of course your husband is kind of normal because he's a man, and men don't have to go through emergencies the way that we do it. We go to the whole drama thing. So the guy is kind of like, okay, so the refrigerator broke, leave it like that. I don't care, just leave it, drop it. Whatever money it is, just drop it and then come back. Yeah, it's not that simple. A woman will not let it go. So you gotta fix it, you gotta call the technician, you gotta do all these things, and you will fire. So first things first, you're going to miss electricity. Really, just a stable kind of electricity. I don't mean, if there is a power outage, because if it is a power outage, by the way, power outages depending upon whether you opened the refrigerator or you didn't. If you didn't, and this is the first time that you're opening, you still have time to save the food. But if you, for some reason, someone in your house did not know that the refrigerator was damaged or did not know that there was no power and they opened the refrigerator, if it is a vertical one and you opened it, then that's it. That refrigerator lost all the temperature and now it's not cold. Even if you close it, it's no longer cold, and therefore you're going to be dealing with bacteria and a lot of other things, and you're going to lose all the money that you used to spend there. And also not to mention that depending upon the time and depending upon how long was the power outage and all of these things, there is also no ice in that device. And so if you were thinking, okay, I'm going to drink something cool while I'm trying to fix this problem, yeah, I'm sorry. Now you gotta run and buy ice. You better have gasoline in your car because you need ice. The other alternative will be, you knocking on your neighbor's door and saying, please give me all the ice that you have in your refrigerator if your refrigerator is working. And so at this point, you if you don't have that relationship with your neighbors, you're on your own. Being on your own is going to be one of those things that you seriously do not want to do. Seriously, I do not care if you are the most shy person in the entire planet. You seriously do not want to be on your own in situations like this, especially if you are a woman and you have kids. And anyway, so let's move on to the next topic in the same idea. You are, it is 11 p.m. So you are tired and you are kind of like, oh my god, seriously, I'm just going to make popcorn and drink something because I'm so this or whatever, and it's 11 p.m. So it's dark, it's pitch black outside because obviously today is not, full moon. Bad for you. It's actually dark moon today. So everything is absolutely pitch black outside. But you don't care because, who the hell cares? It's 11 p.m. and all I care is about getting my drink and just get the drink, and that's it. When you go into the kitchen and then boom, what? Yeah, there was a search again, and now, yeah, the you don't have lights in your kitchen, and it is pitch black, and then you kind of like, yeah. So I'm going to tell you what happens when you are pitch black. When you go into the pitch black situation, you're going to get dizzy a little bit, depending upon how bad or how good your body is. You will get dizzy for a couple of seconds because if you are moving, I want you to try something. Just humor me. Seriously, just humor me. Stand up and, of course, do this only, and I do mean only, if only in a safe place, and I do mean safe. So please remove any kind of obstacle or any kind of anything. Try walking with complete closed eyes. Close your eyes entirely and try to even just get into the stairs with the closed eyes. You are going to be dizzy. And not only that, but you are not going to be able to move. Because you as soon as you close your eyes and you are pitch black, you will not have a sense of any kind of balance and any kind of movement. And so you are into the kitchen, but your body will not remember exactly where things are unless you are blind or you have some sort of problems with your eyes, and you already kind of are used to the idea of moving in the dark. But even then, you will still have some sort of dizziness, and you can't even remember where is a freaking flashlight. So now you are bumping into things, you are having accidents, you are falling, you can't find the flashlight, you don't know where the light is in terms of at the battery, because most of the times people will find the flashlight, but it turns out that you don't have the batteries for it. And there are so many other stuff that is like this that goes totally insane. And and if you had things that like a glass or in which you were drinking the stuff, and this glass is made out of actual glass but not plastic, then if you drop it or you accidentally bump it into something, you might break it, and now you have a problem because there is glass all over. And if you were barefoot or something like this, like most people, because most people walk barefoot in the house, now you have to go to the nursing room or whatever room you have in which you have the first aid kit, if you have that, and fix this because you accidentally cut yourself, which is going to happen all the time, all because you could not see. Well, because there was a problem with a power outage and things like this. And then let's say that you have kids. If the kids wake up because the sounds or of an explosion nearby or whatever, and then they are in the dark, the kids are going to run, and they are going to if it is a girl, very likely she will stay put. But if it is a boy, he will try to figure out what happened, and then he will scream, and he will try to find you, and he will try to look everywhere for you. And if it is a boy, thank God kids are made out of rubber, quite frankly, because they are going to fall like crazy when there is a problem like this. And you are in the kitchen, which is downstairs, but they are upstairs. And so now you gotta tell them, don't move, and you gotta go to them in the pitch black inside your house. Now, you would think that this is not a nightmare or whatever because you know your house. Yeah, not when it is pitch black. Seriously, not when it is pitch black. Doing something when it is a little bit dark, manageable, but not when it is pitch black. So depending upon The emergency regenerators that people have outside, depending upon, so many factors, you will have a little bit of light, and even then, it's going to be an issue. And so you're thinking, but it's not a problem if the power outage happens when you have sunlight, and when you have, the flashlight in your hand, or when you know where things are and you can find them easily, or whatever. But the point is that if you happen to have the power outage and it happens when you are in the bathroom, or it happens when you are in the kitchen, those two places are the worst in your house. Outside, there are a lot of places that you do not want to be when this happens pitch black. But seriously, it's going to be like a big problem, huge problem. When it happens, pitch black, and you're inside a mall, and you are inside a store, and the store becomes pitch black, for even if it is just 5 seconds, that is scary. It can be very scary because it's going to be pitch black, and you are going to miss electricity at this point because unless you're telling me, for example, that you're cooking. If you're cooking something with propane, you might be able to see things because even if there is a power outage, you can still see because there is a fire near you, and so you can see. At this point, I can tell you that a lot of people will spend their propane. Really, they will just go, okay, I'm in the kitchen and I know where the lighter is. All I have to do is turn it on, and then people will do this. And so this is one of the reasons why you seriously want to have a lot of propane. Then it will help you. The propane will help you. Of course, you're not cooking anything, but at least it will give you a little bit of light. And so at this point, let's say that you are cooking dinner also. If you're cooking dinner and there is no power, then you gotta do it with the very little sunlight that you have available. Problem, not everyone has a very good eyesight, and sometimes it might be too dark and you can confuse the ingredients, or let's say that the ingredients you have to read them, or the instructions, and the letter is too small for you to read, and you don't even have light to read it properly and things like this. So you go kind of like, okay, I need some sort of glasses, because most of the times you're not going to look for glasses when you are cooking or when you're in the kitchen, and it can be a problem, which is also why I have mentioned before that you want to have magnifying glasses in the kitchen, and in the bathroom, and in your wallet, and everywhere. You really want to get a lot of magnifying glasses, including but not limited to your first aid kit and all kinds of things. You seriously need to have a lot of magnifying glasses. Reason being, your eyesight might not be the best, especially if there is not a lot of light. And if you were before, kind of like, I'm a little bit blind and I need to turn on the light even though that I have sunlight, you have a double problem. Because now you will not be able to see despite the fact that you have a little bit of sunlight. And so, you can't read the instructions, you can't read the medicine, you can't read these, and you can't find the proper ingredients, and you might need to open the containers to figure out what is what by smell. And that's going to be an issue because, if you don't know what you're looking for to smell, or let's say that, you are in your sister's kitchen and you're not used to how your sister organizes everything, or this is an unfamiliar place for you. So, that might be even more difficult. Or let's say that you're the husband and your wife just told you, hey, find this in the kitchen. And, you're a guy. You're like, I'm a man. I seriously, please tell me to hunt something that moves. But looking for something that is hidden? What, yeah, not my strength. So I will do it, but still, now you gotta figure out, because if you don't know, where things are in the refrigerator by heart, you have a problem, because you will need to open it even longer. And if there is no power and you are spending 5 minutes looking for the mayo, by the time you close this thing, it's going to be hot. And if you close it, it's going to be way worse for everything, because now things are going to ferment and things like this inside the refrigerator, because it is actually hot in the inside rather than cold. And so now everything is going to start to stink, and a lot of other things, because you have problems with the power and problems with the electricity. So my suggestion is, I have mentioned before, buy the emergency lights that will last you anywhere from 3 to 6 hours. By light bulb, and put them in the kitchen and in the bathrooms. If you can afford two, those are the only two places. If you can afford more, then place it in certain hallways or certain rooms that you need. Very, very, very important. Very important, place them in the basement and place them in key locations that you know that you are prone to have accidents into. If there was a problem, by you trying to get the flashlight, you trying to get whatever, it's going to be like a thing. And so, you are going to miss the electricity also, because if you are buying something and there is no power, then you gotta leave your shopping and move to another place. And so if you were thinking, okay, I'm going to the supermarket, grab this thing and leaving, yeah, this supermarket does not have a generator, so now you gotta go and find another place that has that thing. So that means that you are not going home in half an hour, you're going home 2 hours from now. And now, not only that, but you're spending more gasoline and everything else to try to get the same thing. So you are going to miss electricity like crazy. And not only that, but let's say that you're working in a restaurant and you are cooking and everything, but the power is out and you have clients and they are expecting the food, but you can't make them because half of the cooking that you're doing requires electrical devices, like the grill or the oven or whatever it is. They are for electricity. So you go, I'm sorry, I have half of the food done and I can charge you for only half, but you gotta wait because I don't have, the devices are just kind of like that, and then you are going to miss the food and you're going to drop the client, because the client might be like, I ordered this, which is baked, and you can't give it to me, but you're only giving me this. And so you're going to now to have to deal with clients who are pissed. And if you were in the restaurant when this happened, what are you going to do? I mean, seriously, if you're still hungry, you might be kind of like, yeah, I'm sorry about you, but I'm not paying and I'm leaving because you are not giving me anything and it is not my fault. So basically, whatever you were cooking and it didn't cook because you didn't have enough time or whatever, yeah, now you're going to have to throw it away. And because of that. And if you have a problem with the refrigerators in the restaurant, that is going to be way worse. And I do mean way worse, because whatever food you bought now is gone. And if you dare to try to use that food, despite the fact that you left it because you didn't have power or whatever, and somebody gets sick or whatever, you might be sued, and you might have internal clients, as in people that work with you, like the waiters or whatever, telling the clients, yeah, don't eat that because yesterday we had a power outage, and therefore it is the thing. The thing is that the things were frozen, but they defrost and then we refrozen, and now the taste is going to be horrible and it might be contaminated and things like this, and they might even snitch on you, and now you're going to get a fine and you're going to get into all kinds of problems because you didn't have generators that were connected directly towards the refrigerators, and it's going to go ballistic on you, unless of course you just decide to not to throw away all of the food that is related to refrigerators and start over. So goodbye to the $2,000 worth of lettuce, tomatoes, and whatever things you got that were in there, including but not limited to things that were in the refrigerator, like the things that were frozen. Because if they were frozen and now they were not so frozen, but now you refroze them, things are going to taste horrible, or they're going to change the taste, and then you're going to miss the clients, because the clients are going to be kind of like, what happened? This thing used to taste good and now it didn't. What happened? And if they are regular clients, they will tell you what happened and things like this, and they will you will lose the loyalty of your clients because you accidentally sold them something that, even though that some people will not be able to tell, a lot of people will be able to tell that the things were not kept properly. with the distance and things like this. And so it's going to go insane with you. Now, the other thing that will happen is in the supermarkets, because supermarkets, they have places, they have the refrigerators in which they keep the meat, in which they keep everything. And if there is a power outage, these items will be bad because of the same reason. They will defrost, and then, if the refrigerator, by the way, just the same problem that you have, the refrigerator went bad overnight because of a surge problem. They will have that problem in the supermarket. So the refrigerators in which there is the meat and everything else stored in the supermarket, if that thing broke down in the middle of the night, in the morning they are still cold. And so they will place them in other refrigerators, even though that now the things are bad. And so they will mix. What supermarkets will do is that they will take everything that was defrosted, they will place it in other refrigerators, and sometimes they will even go as far as just spraying chemicals all over the supermarket so that nobody will be able to tell that something went wrong with the refrigerators. And it's going to go very, very, very bad not having the refrigerators because there is no power, or because the power outages just damage your refrigerator, the industrial ones, the ones that are for restaurants, the ones that are commercial, the ones that are for you, the ones that are for everybody, is going to create such a sanitary problem that it's going to go insane, to the point in which people will just avoid altogether buying food sometimes, and buying things from, and then you want to get the things, and you want them to practically cut them in front of you, because otherwise you will not trust it, and there will be a problem with the pricing and all of these things, and it's all because there was problems with the refrigerators, because there is no stable electricity, and you finding a technician that it is industrial type of a technician. You see, if you call the technician for your refrigerator at your home, that one is a guy that can fix things because it's a cooling system. However, the same refrigerator, but the one that works for a restaurant or the one that works for a supermarket, those type of technicians are not the same. If they tell you they're the same, they are lying to their teeth. They are not. They are specialized, to the point in which they are called industrial type of technicians. And the industrial type of technicians are 1 for every 20, I think. Don't buy me, because I think it's 1 in 10, maybe 1 in 20 or whatever. But the point is, you're not finding a technician. Seriously, you are not finding a technician that will be able to deal with the problem in your supermarket or in your restaurant or at the mall or whatever. You are not finding that technician, period. And since you can't find that technician, whatever the technician asks, I'm charging $500 per 15 minutes, you are paying it. And not only that, but it's going to go insane, because the technician may or may not fix your problem. And just by the technician being there, you are already spending money. But you do not know if you're going to be able to solve the problem. And at this point, finding the spare part for that particular equipment, yeah. I'm sorry, how many people will buy, restaurant equipment versus how many people will buy a refrigerator for the home? See what I mean? So not nearly the same. And so the spare parts might be a problem, the technician is going to be a problem, you turning on this thing again and again, and dealing with the power problems, not easy. And therefore now you are going to go kind of like this. Most people in the supermarkets will go, all that area is just closed. We are not selling meat anymore. But this is a supermarket. We're not selling that anymore. But I came here last week. But no, we're not selling that. No, we're not selling that. No, we're not selling that. We are not selling yogurts. We are not selling milk. We are not selling, we're not selling anything that can melt. And then, we're going to have a problem because of that. Because quite frankly, getting a generator, is very, very easy. However, finding the fuel for the generator and finding the technician that fixes the generator when the generator goes down, you see, your generator, easy. But the generator that is the size of a small bus, and that generator that is working for a building, or is working for a mall, or is working for a supermarket, yeah, that requires, again, another type of technician. If you don't have that type of technician, then you're not getting energy from that generator. And if you can't find a spare part for that particular thing, which is industrial, you are also not getting power. Therefore, yeah, you are done. That's it. You're not selling. Why will you spend all that money? Why will you spend $500,000 or something like this in all this equipment and things like this just because you want to sell yogurts? So at this point, a lot of people, will just give up. You can't sell ice creams, you can't sell yogurt, you can't sell milk, you can't sell a lot of things. Because they will melt, and because people will say, that, hey, I got sick because of you. And things like this. So most people won't bother. And so now finding a lot of things that are related to being cold, yeah, not happening. Seriously, not happening. And if it is happening because the place is going to buy a generator or whatever, things that are like this are going to be very expensive, or they must be placed in a location in which the affluency of people is so big that people just don't care, and it will be okay, because it is done. It's kind of like, okay, I'm in a huge hotel. Since I am in a huge hotel, then I can afford $500,000 generators, technicians, and all of these things if I want to sell yogurt to the clients, because I'm going to charge them $10 for the yogurt. And since it is a hotel, people won't care. However, if it was in a supermarket, where people say, hey, a yogurt is supposed to be $2, not 10, then it's not the same. However, if you're in a hotel, you're kind of like, yeah, I would rather eat the yogurt in $10 than turning on my car to try to get the yogurt in another place. So just pay the $10, I don't care. Stuff like this. Sorry, I got interrupted. So like I was saying, your nightmares in terms of food will happen because food is extremely related to electricity. Now, other problems that you will see that will happen because of electricity is that what happens if you are in a factory? And in this factory, there is no more power for 2 hours. So the factory is going to stop all whatever it is that they were doing. And number one, this will create, obviously kind of like a disorganizational thing, because if you were working and all of a sudden the machinery stops, depending upon what happened to you, you might actually get into an accident. Because if you're going kind of like, what happened to this thing? And then you put your hand and this thing, the power comes back in and then the machine starts. Yeah, accidents. That's going to happen a lot in the factories that produce food. And what happens if you were, receiving an order or maybe billing somebody or whatever, and there is no more power in your factory, and then you go kind of like, what happened? And then, you are behind 2 or 3 hours. That means that you are not going to be able to, let's say that there is a truck about to get out. But the truck cannot get out if you haven't printed the whole thing that says, what you were going out with and this and this and this and that. If you don't print it, the truck has to be there because they can't leave. And all the food, if it is a truck that is an ice truck, then the food is starting to go bad, especially if it is a long trip. And and now you will have to replace all the ice and the machinery and all of these things inside a lot of these trucks and things, and it's going to go very bad, all because there was a power outage, and all the production and all the distribution and everything else is just not going to go. Sorry, just not going to go. And now you are also running with accidents. And if it is a factory that is working at night, you're working in the night shift, and there is a power outage, yeah, if it becomes pitch black and is a machinery, and I don't need to tell you that you probably don't know your way by heart. And I can tell you right now that there will be accidents in the night shifts like this. And this is why, people seriously need to go out all the time with a flashlight and with a whistle if you're working, because of power outages. They are bad, when it is pitch black, because it could have a little bit of moonlight, or it could have all kinds of other kinds of lights, but still, there is a high probability of you finding yourself in a place that is just pitch black. And especially if it is related to food, because people, you can't stop producing food, and you can't stop you can't stop in your house from going into the kitchen, and you can't stop from a lot of things, because you're thinking that it's going to be continued, and it's not. And the worst part is when the electricity goes, like in my country, there is off 1 second, and there is on again. So if you are working, it's like the computer, the printer, whatever it is, turned off and then turns back on. And so it resets itself, and sometimes you will have to wait 5 to 10 minutes to the system to be back on. And so you're behind schedule, 5 to 10 minutes. And then you're like, yeah, that's not a big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal if you are waiting for a lot of orders and a lot of things, and things cannot go like this, because if the machinery stops and it moves again, a lot of people will just try to figure out what happened, and then they will go and touch things that they were not supposed to touch, and there will be a lot of people that will be crushed by this problem in factories and things like this. And that's something that people don't tell you. Why? Well, because people think, yeah, well, it's a power outage, what happened? Yeah, if you're normal, if you're in a normal situation during the day, you might not care. But if it is something like this, and you don't know, because you're in the beginning of these problems, you might get into the rookie's mistakes, and the rookie's mistakes, are costly, and they happen. Do they happen to 100% of people? No, because there will be people, even in elevators, there will be people that are trapped in elevators, and they won't move. And they will be like, yeah, just wait, and it will be gone. However, there are people that go, let's open the elevator and things like this, and then boom, you lost your arm, you lost your leg, you lost your, you lost, I don't know, you lost your hand, you lost half of whatever, you lost whatever. Yeah, because you were not supposed to touch things. People will go, yeah, let's figure out. Yeah, your curiosity is going to, probably create an accident. So the best thing to do when you are having this problem is to stay put. And if you're the one who has to move, you better know what you're doing. Seriously, you better know what you're doing, and don't panic. Just breathe, because most of the time the electricity will be back on. It's not like it's going to be a national power outage. If it is a national power outage, your biggest problems are going to start, tomorrow morning, not right now. Seriously, not now. Your biggest problems are going to be 6 hours later, when nobody can find ice. And other kinds of things, including accidents, which you're probably not going to get if you are not panicking, and if you are okay, because it's not going to be like the end of the world disaster thing, but it is going to be like a hazard and a problem, and it's going to be kind of like you're spending way more money, and a lot of other things, and you're going to be in a lot of problems. And I have mentioned these in the power outage videos and all kinds of other videos. Let's see. What else you are supposed to do with electricity that it is related to food? Other than, the biggest problem, like I said, is going to be the refrigerators. The second biggest problem is going to be the factories, which are going to stop producing. And by the way, if the factories happen to happen the damage in the machinery for production, then you can expect that machinery to lay out a lot of people. So you are fired. I'm sorry, you're fired. Why? Well, because, we don't have the machinery. Even if we have electricity, the machine went gone, and we don't have the technicians, and we are going to stop the factory. We're going to stop the production for at least a month. And so I'm sorry, we are letting everybody go, and so you're fired. And your fire is going to be one of those things that will happen a lot because of this. Try to imagine how many people are involved into food, the food industry, and how many people are into the farm industry that also requires electricity, and how many people are involved into the distribution system and the backup systems and the systems that support all of the food getting from the ground to your table. It's not just the factory, it's the transportation, the IT, the roads, the printers, the computer IT people, the inventory, the tools, the everything, and every single thing that is related to food will be impacted one way or another one by electricity. And not only that, but the distribution system, that means the supermarkets, the technicians for the supermarket, the systems for the supermarket, the buying the food with the thing. That means that you need a banking system. You also need, a connection for between the bank and the suppliers and the banks and the supermarkets, and then the supermarkets and you. And so you have, 4 people that are connected because of the money process, so that you can do this kind of trading. And then, you have all of those things, and all of them cannot happen if there is no electricity. Now, the electricity also supports the Wi-Fi, which means that they also support the internet and things like this. However, if somebody controls the electricity, they can control basically everything. And so, it's kind of like you support, whenever you have like a big conglomeration thing, like a lot of things together in one point, if that thing fails, like eggs not being there, no eggs means a lot of people will get fired, and it means no mayo in your table, and it also means no bread, and it also means a lot of things like I mentioned. And so there are key points that you will miss, and electricity is one of them. And because of that, you're probably going to get fired if you are related to this kind of industry, and if you are related to all of these things. And so now I'm going to talk to you about the eyesight and proper EDC for shopping and things like this. And this is about you doing shopping normally. Because now you doing shopping in the supermarket is not going to be, a picnic. At this point, I can tell you that, let's say that there is no sugar. You can't find sugar anywhere. But for some reason, you are in the supermarket, and today is Tuesday. By the way, Tuesday is the day in which most supermarkets will replenish everything. You want to figure out, between the supermarkets, which day is the one that they replenish everything. And there is no sugar, and all of a sudden, sugar arrives at your supermarket. This means that you will have literally 200 people showing out of nowhere and pushing you in the supermarket and all of these things, trying to grab the sugar. Because as soon as the people that work in the supermarket put it there in the aisle, you will have 200 people pushing everybody, trying to get the sugar, and they will break the packages, and they will do a lot of things. So how you go into a supermarket, and sometimes you see the guy, opening the packages, the huge packages, and then the boxes, and you grab one by one and you place it in the shelves, and then you put it in an order or things like that. No, that's not going to happen. What happens is there is sugar, and the clients, as in you and other people, will go, oh, that box is mine, and people will grab the boxes, they will open the boxes themselves, so they will throw everything everywhere, and they will push everybody, and then you're grabbing everything, you're not even letting it be in the shelf, and then you're running, because you gotta get out of there soon, because as soon as everybody else posts online in the groups, there is sugar in this supermarket, oh my god, it's game on. Seriously, it's game on. You have literally, I swear, you have about 3 minutes before it's like 90, 89, 88, 87, 86, 80. Oh my God, seriously, just grab that thing, run, and get out of there. Like that, because. And if you have kids, yeah, I'm sorry, little kids in there, if you have your kid and you're trying to get the sugar, yeah, you are either getting the kid or getting the sugar. You're not getting both. And your kid is going to probably be pushed all over. Elderly people, I'm sorry, fall. They are going to be on the ground. And they will be, oh my God, I have mentioned this in other videos. If you grab the sugar and you're thinking, okay, I grabbed the sugar and no problem, I'm just going to, sleep behind, nothing, I'm going to continue with my shopping. Yeah, somebody will follow you and they will take the sugar from your shopping cart. And then they will say, everybody, hey, that person has sugar. And then you will have people following you and people, placing their hands into your shopping cart. And if for whatever reason your purse is in the shopping cart, yeah, your purse is gone. and oh my God. So seriously, if you want to know more about all of those details, I have a reproduction list that says, what to do when you're standing in line. And I also have the reproduction list about shopping. It will tell you all of the madness that will happen when something that is scarce, it just happens to land in the place that you're in. Count down, 90, 89, 88, 87, and then, yeah, you will have the manager screaming all over, trying to get a hold of the 200 people that are trying to, push each other and they're fighting. Seriously, have you not seen the videos of people that are fighting over the last toilet paper when in the United States? Well, that one is just a normal day, not even a bad day here. In a bad day here, you will have people that will actually go, I have a knife, so give me that, or get a knife. Yeah. So seriously. And so, social media will make it worse. Because they will tell false flags. They will go, there is sugar in this supermarket. Yeah, where? And then you stop. You stop everywhere. You stop your shopping. You go and try to find the sugar within this place, and you don't know where it is, but you're looking for it, and then you're asking everywhere, and it turns out that the sugar is going to be here, but they're not going to let it out because the people that work in the supermarket are kind of like, I'm afraid of taking the sugar out. And I don't want to do it. or should we do it at this time? Or should we do it like, one big crane to, right now at 12, one big crane at 2, one big crane at 4, they will do it like that sometimes. And so the whole situation with you doing normal shopping, yeah, like family shopping, no, no, with small kids, when there is a pair situation, no, elderly, no, seriously, just no. That is a big no. And then you're kind of like, I need to know about this price or whatever. Now you need a very, very good eyesight so that you can see the product and see the expiration date, so that you can know if this one is was it something that it has been in the store for 3 months or something like this, because that means that the price is going to be cheaper than something that they brought yesterday, for example, and things like this. So you need a very good eyesight. And again, the magnifying glass that you are supposed to have in your wallet is the one that is going to save your day, and especially the ones that have like a small light on it. And then you need proper EDC for doing shopping, because if you're going to be pushed around, or you're gonna be running, or you are now going to be kind of like in a war situation with hundreds of people, even let's say that tomorrow there is going to be this supermarket got coffee, and it's too late to unload the crane and things like this, so they're going to do it tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning, right now, 8 p.m., you have at least 1,000 people that will stay overnight outside of the supermarket, waiting for the supermarket to open at 7 in the morning. So it's war. It's kind of like wartime. And so you need a proper EDC for everything. Because if you didn't know, You're just going there because, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm out of milk, so I'm just going to go there. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's 7 in the morning. You are like, what happened? Why do we have, 1,000 people in here? Yeah, it's just that they're selling coffee. Oh, crap. Because, now, then so you're kind of like, oh, yeah, my, crap, I did not bring enough water, and I did not bring enough things to stay in line, and I did not bring the cash, I did not bring this or that or this or that, and then you go, okay, fine, I'm just not going to get a coffee. Just not getting it because I will have to stay longer, and I will have to call people, and my cell phone is without battery, whatever it is. So, oh, seriously, your EDC must be your EDC is going to be one of those things that you seriously need it to be upgraded to kind of war mode thing, because you are going to need it. Of course, if you're a guy, not so much. But if you're a woman, yes, because you have the kids, because you need more hydration than men, because you are not as strong as men, and you don't have the same stamina as men do. So your EDC, seriously. Also, if you're buying the coffee, even you're fighting against 400 people that are also trying to get the coffee that day with you, yeah, that is the day that your period will arrive, and now you are with your period with everybody, and you're fighting and you're running and you're trying to get the freaking coffee, and there is no way you're going home without the coffee. So oh my god. So seriously, the drama situation with the shopping list, with the shopping information, with the inside trading thing for the information, as in where the hell can I buy the coffee, and things like this. It's just going to be one of those things that you go, seriously, when was the last time that I went on a date, or when was the last time that I just went out to a restaurant, and when was the last time that I just sat down and watched a movie without any kind of interruptions? Seriously, not happening unless you're actually going to the movies. But by the way, if something happens at the movie, you already know that the electricity is probably going to fail that day. So it's going to be one of those things that you say, yeah, I miss the good old days in which I have nothing to worry about other than where am I going to get the money. Seriously, because right now, if you're in hard times, you're probably like, where the hell am I going to get the money? Yeah, wait until you actually have to try to ask, where am I going to get the money? Where am I going to get the propane? Where am I going to get the water? Where am I going to get the gasoline? Where am I going to get the spare parts? Where am I going to get, the coffee, the water, the situation? And where am I going to get this and this and this and this and this and that? And the answer is, you can't. Why not? Well, because you're fired. You're fired. God, seriously. Now, on top of everything, you gotta figure out, how are you going to create your own business out of nothing that works in 48 hours to make money, or, just be like me and say something like, okay, I would like somebody to, get my books, or maybe buy me a coffee, once in a while, because sometimes, quite frankly, I need it. But, it's just one of those things that you go, okay, just, seriously, just try to keep up. Just hang in there, and, breathe and keep calm. Seriously, the most important part about hard times is keep your head cool. Keep your head cool. The problem is your mental stamina is also going to run out. And if your mental stamina runs out, yeah, you if that one happens, yeah, now you need a vacation. So you seriously need a vacation. That means you seriously need to sit down and do there was an advertising that I really understand and really like. So there are teens that are trying to get into a house, right? But there is a couple, and these people are like 70 or something like this, or 60 something, or 70, right? So this couple is just looking at each other and finally, getting the coffee, and they are like, honey, what? Vacation time. So they sit down to try to drink the coffee. And at this moment, the teens are opening the door, and there is the phone ringing and all of these things. So the woman decides to say, she decides to do the moaning thing when you're having sex. And she decides to tell the entire house, she even answered the phone and she's like, oh my God. And then, the teens go, Dad. And then the dad goes, yeah, yeah. And the dad goes, kind of like that. And oh my God, it was insane. And then the girl just says, anything for my coffee and my vacation. And the guy go, and then they just clap their hands and then they hug each other and said, nothing beats this. And and seriously, yeah, you might need to do that one with your husband because otherwise, seriously, I mean, you have heard my videos. If you have heard them, you know that I get interruptions like crazy, and it's insane. Seriously, it's just one of those things that you seriously, yeah, just hang in there. Vacation is coming.